All right, welcome. Thank you for joining us here at KeyShot World 2020. As most of you know, this was meant to be an in-person event bringing together customers and presenters and workshops to network around KeyShot. Obviously, given the global situation, we decided to bring it online and make it free instead. We have such great content for this show. We are all excited to kind of bring it to you as quickly and efficiently as we could. So for the next 9 days, we're going to be bringing you many of the sessions from KeyShot World, and we're going to bring it to you right online for free. I want to thank our team here at Luxion for pivoting so quickly to an online event. A lot of great work done behind the scenes. I also want to thank our presenters for agreeing to switch to an online format, so thank you. I would note that some of the presenters that were scheduled unfortunately could not come online due to the fact that they had information in their presentations, obviously, that could not be recorded and broadcast, but we'll definitely have them back at our next in-person event. Along those lines, I want to note that these presentations, were originally built for an in-person audience, so maybe a lot of audio and some video. Obviously, given the current demands of the internet, some things might be a little bit laggy, a little bit slow, so we ask for your patience and your understanding. The sessions are going to be great. It's going to be 2 sessions a day, most days. Please go online. If you go online to the main website, you can see our schedule. The sessions will be 10 a.m. and noon. We designed that to kind of, help people, allow them to do it during their lunch breaks and watch live. But of course, everything will be recorded on Zoom as well as on YouTube Live, so you can watch when it's most convenient for you. To focus on the networking elements of this, we're going to be on Twitter. We're going to be on LinkedIn, we're going to be on Instagram, and of course our newsletter. So if you haven't already, please join our newsletter. Each day we'll send out basically the sessions that happened before the prior sessions, as well as the next upcoming sessions that you'll see. So definitely please, follow along if you haven't already on those channels. In addition, the folks at Render Weekly are going to be doing a great contest each week, so the next 2 weeks, a render contest. So follow along with that if you haven't already. That's Render Weekly on Instagram. And so at the end of each week, they give away a KeyShot license for the best render. And so along those lines, I also want to thank our wonderful sponsors who have stepped up to help us with Virtual KeyShot World. First up, 3D Off the Page, who's giving away 4 render credits for people. And so we'll basically be giving those away in the sessions as well. So that'll be a week of render time for someone. So thank you to 3D Off the Page. GoPro has given us 4 cameras, 2 Hero 7s, 2 Hero 8s. We'll be giving those away next 9 days. So thank you to GoPro. And the fine folks of NVIDIA have given us an RTX 5000 to give away. So if you're really interested in GPU rendering, this is your chance to try and win a RTX 5000. The way the giveaways are going to work is that we'll have a Q&A for all the sessions. And the second session of the day, during the Q&A, we're going to grab somebody and they're going to win a prize. And your chances are definitely increased if you ask a good question. I'm just going to put that out there. So obviously, given the stay-at-home mandate in California right now, it's going to be a little tricky for us to kind of get the prizes out to you really soon, but we'll do it as quickly as we can. So with that, let's get started. This is really going to be an exciting, 9 days here of sessions. The first one we're going to kick it off with is what's new in KeyShot 9 with Ryan Levy. It's a great overview of all the features in KeyShot 9. It's a great way to get started and kind of learn about what's new in KeyShot 9. He's also going to direct you to additional sessions on things such as real cloth and fuzz, so help you kind of understand, which of the sessions you want to really dig into for more information. Our second session will be at noon Pacific time today. And that's George Olarte from Spin Master. He's doing a great presentation. It's very informative and very humorous about his journey from KeyShot novice to KeyShot expert. So that's fantastic. That's noon today. And so, yeah, please go to the agenda, watch what's upcoming. We worked really hard to bring this to you, so I hope you enjoy it. And with that, let's get started. Ryan Levy, take it away.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Virtual KeyShot World. Hope everybody's staying safe and enjoying your time working from home. Let's move on. My name is Ryan Levy. I am the Global Training and Creative Specialist at Luxion, makers of KeyShot. You'll see my email here and my LinkedIn. I encourage you to reach out if you have questions or want to connect in any way. Some of my skills in my background involve 3D visualization, motion graphics, videography, and visual effects. Today, my machine I'm working on is a main gear machine with an AMD Ryzen Threadripper 2990 and 32 core processor at 3 gigahertz. We have a NVIDIA Titan RTX, and we have 128 gigabytes of RAM. All right, so let's jump in. What's new in KeyShot 9? And I just want to add, it's been a really exciting release of 9. It's a super powerful version, and it's got a lot of really great features that I think everybody's really excited about. So let's jump in. So you'll see here just a few of the new features in 9. So there's quite a bit, and we'll go over more later on in this presentation, but just want to talk about these top 5 features, and we'll go into a little bit of detail on these, but also if you have questions about some more details, don't hesitate to write into Zoom, and we'll get those answered if we can right away. So let's start with real cloth. You'll notice hashtags underneath these title screens. So I encourage you to tag your renders in any kind of social media platforms. We love to see, what you do and what kind of new ideas you're bringing to the table. So definitely encourage you to use those hashtags. All right, real cloth, what is it? Real cloth allows you to create woven fabrics with custom weave patterns and flyaway fibers. A few of the key features of this are being able to customize the edit weave pattern. So you can see over here on the right, there is a dialog box where you can just click and rearrange those warp and weft patterns. Super simple, very intuitive. KeyShot also has curated a number of pre-made patterns. These are really great for just using out of the box, or if you want to make adjustments, it's good to do that as well. Also flyaway fibers. So this is going to be an addition to that weave pattern to really bring your pattern, your textures to life. And add that extra little detail of realism. Also, KeyShot has curated a number of pre-made materials. So you can find these in the material library and just drag and drop these onto your parts or models and go from there. Super simple, very easy to get this going. What are some use cases for real cloth? These are just a few examples, but apparel, furniture, footwear, vehicle interiors, architectural renders, V-Stitcher software, clothes software, Marvelous Designer software, and various other soft goods. Here's some examples of user-generated content. These are really great examples because you can kind of see, where our users are taking this feature. It's really, there's a lot of ways to take it. I mean, if you look at the bottom left, you'll see kind of more of a tightly woven cable. And then at the top right, you'll see this really kind of cool, fluffy piece of art that it's just really cool. So Espen Oxholm has been doing a lot of great stuff as well. You might recognize that name. But yeah, maybe jump on the forum, see what people are doing with this, and it might inspire you to create some new stuff there. We have sessions covering real cloth next week on March 30th, and that's with Kareem Merchant and Soren Gamamark. at 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. Pacific time. So if you can jump on those, I encourage that. They're going to go really in depth on this stuff, and it's definitely a treat to be part of that, I'm sure. All right, moving on. So fuzz, this is actually one of my favorite features in KeyShot 9, just because of its versatility. But you'll notice hashtag down there again. Use that if you can in your social media posts. So fuzz, what is fuzz? Fuzz allows you to add randomized hair-like growth from the surface of any material. And we'll go over some of the key features here for that. UVs are not required to apply fuzz to surfaces. So that is a very easy function. So you can just drag and drop this material onto any part or model and not have to worry about the UVs. You have the ability to change material properties of fuzz. So if you look to the right, you'll see an example of like a metallic material, a plastic, a translucent or glass type material, and an emissive type material. And these are just a few examples, but definitely try out some others if you can, but it's pretty powerful. You have the ability to change direction, density, and length using image or procedural maps for fuzz. As you can see on the right, this is just such a cool feature here to add a lot more realism and depth to these fuzz examples. So definitely check that out if you can. And then my favorite feature of fuzz is animation. So you can actually animate fuzz and have it grow, and also use those image-based or procedural-based maps along with this. So it's really powerful. What are some use cases of fuzz? Again, these are just a few examples, but apparel, furniture, footwear, grass and vegetation, hair, bristles, fur. Actually on the right with this tennis ball, this is like one of the first examples I've seen of fuzz back when it was in beta. And that was just so exciting to see. So here's some examples of user-generated content. Again, just powerful stuff. A lot of different ways to use fuzz. It's not just for cloth or anything like that, but the example, Paul Lang's example up at the top left, a succulent, what a great use for fuzz, and really creative right there. Sessions covering fuzz. It's the same sessions as I mentioned before with Kareem and Soren. Definitely check those out. It's another exciting feature that you want to dive into a little bit more. GPU mode. So this is also another exciting feature. I'll go through this a little bit, but if you have questions on this, we'll dive into it as well. So moving on. GPU mode allows you to harness the full GPU accelerated ray tracing power of NVIDIA RTX cards. On the right, you'll see some benchmarks from NVIDIA, and also visit nvidia.com/quattro for more details on that. Some of the key features of GPU mode. You're allowed to toggle between GPU and CPU with one click. So you can really get that horsepower out of the GPU whenever you're ready. And it's just really accessible and very easy for you. Lightning fast performance. Again, on the right side, you'll see those benchmarks, and it's just kind of unbelievable how fast this works and speeds up your workflow. So GPU mode is not only available in real time or local rendering, but also now in network rendering. So this was an addition in 9.1. So now you can really stack those cards in your network rendering and really top this power out. I wanted to add this, we wanted to add this example from Harley Davidson and the guys over there that are using GPU powered right now. So you'll see on the right, this 6-core CPU was around a 3-hour render, and then moving towards GPU sped up that time to around 83 seconds using 2 RTX cards. So just an example of how powerful this is. All right, moving on to Denoise, another great feature, one of my favorites as well. Another favorite of mine, actually. So Denoise, what is it? One-click style option to eliminate noise in real-time view and render output. Some example use cases of this. When you're rendering complex materials such as dielectric, cloudy plastics, translucent materials, scattering medium. And I'll show you a little bit of some examples of that in a second. High quality renders using less samples. So if you're in a pinch or your machine is running, at less core or something like that, you can actually enable denoise to get that high fidelity look quickly with less samples. So that's going to help tremendously in getting your renders out. This feature also helps eliminate fireflies when using HDRI and physical lights. And I know those pesky fireflies, we've all dealt with them, and sometimes they're unavoidable until now. Denoise works under the hood, and it really cleans up all of those issues if you are running into those. I know I do with physical lights quite a bit, and scattering medium. So this just eliminates that for me. Here's some good examples of it in use. Some imagery from Espen Oxholm. On the left is scattering medium, and the top left used in his scene. But with denoise activated, you can see all of that really cleaned up. Same with the bottom images. And these are all the same sample rates and times. So it really shows through in these examples. Moving on, Unwrap UV. This is another exciting feature that came around in 9.1. So we know a lot of users were excited about this one, as was I. So what is Unwrap UV? So this feature allows you to control the seams and direction of a texture on your object. So example use cases, as you can see in this kind of bent piece of wood, you'll see this curvature in the edges with the plies. This allows you to position those textures on complex surfaces. So if I were to try, a box map on this, you'll run into some issues in terms of mapping and inconsistencies there, but Unwrap UV is going to help you get to those, those quality details that you're looking for in those image maps and labels. Unwrap UV is required for real cloth material as well. As I mentioned before, there are a lot more great new features in KeyShot 9, and I'm encouraging you to take a screenshot or something of this, look through these features, check them out, try them for yourself. And if you have more questions on these, please reach out to us or write some comments today. We'll try to help you as much as we can on that. Check back tomorrow with me. I'm going to be going over KeyShot Essentials, user interface, and workflow. So we'll walk through the interface, kind of customizing that, getting it ready for you for your like speedy renders and things like that. So, and also there might be some tips and tricks in there to help with that workflow. So definitely check in tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And I'm excited to walk through that with you. Up next at 12 Pacific time is Diary of a Wimpy Packaging Designer with George Alarte. His presentation is really funny. So I think you'll enjoy that. Looking forward to that myself. And thank you very much.
All right, great. Hey, Ryan, can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Great. We have some questions, so we'll go into some Q&A. I know some people will probably come a little later in the presentation. So, and someone had asked, you know, will these webinars be available to view after the event? Yes, they'll be on YouTube Live, as well as recorded and posted on our website, so you can watch them there. A couple questions. One person asked if real cloth can be used for carbon fiber patterns, and I believe I've seen Esben do that. Is that you're saying as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's two settings within real cloth that allow you to do more of a rounded, softer look on your weave patterns, but also a more tightened version of those patterns. So it's definitely achievable. Actually, I think Will Gibbons does another presentation or a tutorial on that online as well. So I've seen some really great stuff come from that for like all kinds of materials. So yes, you can achieve that, and it's fairly simple. So
great. One user is asking that when they're trying to load fuzz in, it kind of lays flat on the surface as opposed to kind of pointing up from the surface. Have you seen that issue?
yeah, sometimes that has to do with the randomness of these fibers. If you're turning random all the way up or doing that way too much, those fibers tend to shoot down and up, and you won't get that full effect. So you got to keep an eye out for the randomness slider and making sure those numbers are good, but also make sure that normals on your models are optimized, because that's basically how those work. So you want to check your normals.
Okay, great. A few folks are asking about the GPU. If you don't mind throwing up that slide that we got from Harley Davidson in terms of performance. So what we generally test with internally is the RTX 5000. That's sort of the standard card that we're working with. A lot of people kind of ask, you know, well, what does this mean for sort of GPU versus CPU? We're still 100% committed to CPU rendering. So we're also working with sort of AMD on the Threadrippers. And so, you know, our goal is to kind of provide the best of both worlds. So if you're investing in GPU, we're absolutely going to get great performance on the GPU side, but we're still 100% committed to CPU because, you know, we found that every customer has a different approach and different aspect of it. Customers have seen, you know, great performance gains on the GPU. For the folks who are investing in CPUs, we're still 100% on that train as well. And so one person asked if you could denoise a certain material or object. No, denoise is for across the full screen. And so a couple people were asking about fuzz materials in the library. If you haven't already in KeyShot 9, definitely check out the new cloud library. We've updated both the sort of the UI and the overall experience. We've added models to download as well. And there are examples of fuzz in there. And I think we should probably throw some more up these next 9 days as well, for people to kind of play around with it. Let me grab a couple other questions. One person saying, are you able to do 2 different thread thicknesses with real cloth?
Thread thicknesses, yes. Warp and weft, you can extend the width of either or and have, absolutely, yeah, you can do that. I can show an example real quick.
That'd be great.
Working window, if that's all right. So let's go ahead, and I'm just going to do something really simple here. I'm just going to bring in a plane. So if I go into this material, actually, you know what? Let's just drag and drop. So I'm going to go to fuzz, and I'm sorry, not fuzz. Let's go to real cloth. There we go. So I'm going to drag in just this guy right here. So if you go into the properties by double clicking, go into your edit weave pattern, you'll see in this dialog box the width of these strands, so you can adjust that as you go. So I just wanted to show you that.
Great, awesome, thank you. One person is asking if the fuzz can fade out or taper towards the end to create more realistic fibers. And that's not possible today, but it is something that people have asked for before, and something we're definitely gonna look into. Another person is asking about getting the files that we're sharing with people. Yes, our goal, if you go on the website, for example, the NVIDIA performance sheet that Ryan showed earlier, that's available in the agenda. As we go through the sessions and we kind of have stuff to follow along with, we'll be posting that on the website to kind of follow along. Someone else is asking about the makeup brush, Ryan. If you go back to the fuzz videos, if it's actual geometry of the bristles, if they model those bristles, or if it's split, and that's actually the individual hairs inside of fuzz that are actually creating that makeup brush.
Yeah. So what was the question? I'm sorry.
They were asking about the makeup brush and basically how that was achieved.
The makeup brush.
Yeah, it's in the main pop-up when you load KeyShot.
Oh, I see. 1 second. Trying to find the welcome window here. Demo scenes?
No, I think I actually had it in when you were showing your real cloth and fuzz examples, or your fuzz examples, I mean.
Let's see. I see. Espen's, let's go back to that. Was this is
yeah, over there, yeah, in the upper right hand corner. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so that was achieved using I believe a normal map to kind of have those bristles kind of break away and shoot out in that direction. Is that the question?
I think so, yeah, and we can see if we can share that model if we haven't already online.
Yeah, we definitely have that. Dries, I think he has that available. So if whoever asked that question wants to reach out to me, I can get them that scene to see how that was built, and we can break it down.
Someone's asking if you can render knitted fabrics with real cloth or just woven. I will say in KeyShot 9, it's just woven, but you may want to attend the real cloth session later in the week to find out more information on that question. For animation, are we able to create a blow effect as you would a dandelion? To basically kind of, I guess they're asking if you can kind of release the fibers. There's no way to do that today. Trying to go through here. The toothbrush, how the bristle's done. I believe we can share the toothbrush as well, can't we, Ryan?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
If not Espen's version, we do have a version that uses that. So that was, I don't know what he did exactly. It might have been a mesh procedural and using density in your fuzz node in Material Graph to achieve that.
Okay, great. Is there a recommended workflow for converting woven text to a real cloth material? I'm not 100% sure what that means, if they're basically trying to envision like a embroidered patch there. I don't know if you have any thoughts there, Ryan.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Converting a woven text to a real cloth material. So I think what they're kind of envisioning is sort of almost converting like a embroidery or a patch over. I haven't seen that done with it. I think that the level of complexity on following the path of the text would be too great. But obviously, you know, KeyShot 9 is sort of our first release of real cloth, and so we're going to kind of continue to push the envelope on things. So you know, I would definitely get in now and start learning real cloth as we sort of extend it out. You know, we'll definitely be looking at things like that to advance it with. Someone's saying, how are you able to achieve the animated fuzz?
Well, actually, this Friday, I am going to be going over that pretty in depth. So that's the advanced animation course that I'll be running through. So we'll go over fuzz animation, also deformation, limbic files, and applying these materials to those as well. But just a quick run through, it's applying the curve node within animation under the animation tab in the material graph, applying that to your fuzz node, geometry node. So I will go over that in depth this Friday.
I believe the makeup brush is in the cloud library under the model. So if you have KeyShot 9, you can grab that and download that. Any tricks to create metal meshes?
Oh, like, yeah. That's a good question. Yes, well, I would use a mesh procedural and make adjustments from there. You can change that mesh procedural to a line pattern and apply any material to that. So you can use metals or plastics or whatever you need to achieve that effect.
Someone's asking if you can elaborate more on the UV unwrap and how it works. And so I'll say, actually, if you go online, one thing I would encourage everyone as you kind of go through this first session is meant to sort of just be an overview. We'll obviously dig in a lot more details as we kind of go through the sessions. But we also have a ton of content online. If you go to our YouTube channel, there's information on UV wrapping. We have a lot of quick tips that we both publish on our YouTube channel as well as push out through things like Twitter and LinkedIn and our newsletters. So, you know, as you kind of want to dig in more on the specific features, I'd encourage you to go onto our YouTube page to learn more there. As well as also say that it's a great, we have a great forum as well, where people both within the company and sort of power users who work with KeyShot answer questions as well. So it looks like that's kind of the extent of the questions that people have asked. As Ryan mentioned, you know, this is kind of our quick overview. Come back at noon today, and George Olarte will be walking us through his presentation on how he went from KeyShot novice to KeyShot expert. It's called Diary of a Wimpy Package Designer. As Ryan mentioned, it's very informative and very funny. And it's a great way to kind of learn how KeyShot is being used sort of hands-on. So basically what George's process was and how he used KeyShot kind of through the whole design and packaging and production stage of what he does at Spin Master. So that's a fantastic one. So please come back at noon today for that one, noon Pacific time. Yes, join us every day between every business day, Monday through Friday, between now and April 2nd for more great content. With that, any closing thoughts, Ryan?
No, I just, I'm excited for the next 2 weeks and hope everybody's staying safe and wearing your tube socks and sweatpants working from home. But I'm just looking forward to working with everybody. I wish that we could have seen each other in person and gotten to know each other a little bit more, but you know, it's great that, you know, Derek and Josh got this together in the manner that they did. So thank you guys.
All right. Well, great. With everyone, thanks. We'll all talk to you soon.